Mary was 10 years old when her parents died in a car accident. One moment, she had a family. The next, she had silence. She didn't remember the impact. She didn't remember the sound of metal. She didn't remember the scream of tires. What stayed with her was the silence. A hospital hallway, white walls, a cold bench. Her feet didn't reach the floor. In her hands, she held a small backpack. Inside was a math notebook, filled with neat numbers. She wanted to show it to her mother that evening, but her mother was gone, and her father too. Adults spoke quietly around her, as if whispering could make the truth softer. Car accident, two simple words. That destroyed everything. Mary didn't cry. The tears stayed somewhere deep inside, lost, confused, with nowhere to go. Hours later, a man in a dark coat stood in front of her. He moved awkwardly, like someone who wasn't used to moments like this. "I'm your uncle," he said softly. "My name is Carlson." Mary looked at him carefully. Tall, thin, tired eyes. The eyes of someone who carried responsibility without complaining. "You'll live with me now," he said after a long pause. "If you're okay with that." Mary nodded. She didn't care where she lived. She just didn't want the silence to become louder. Carlson's house was on the edge of the city. Small, clean, quiet, no unnecessary things. It smelled like books, coffee, and something strict, as if the house itself believed in rules. That first evening, Carlson placed a bowl of soup in front of her. Then he sat down across the table. "I don't know how to be a good father," he said honestly, "but I will do everything I can to make you strong." Mary nodded. That night she couldn't fall asleep. She stared at the ceiling and counted the cracks. 1, 2, 3. Numbers were honest. They didn't disappear suddenly. Unlike people. From the very first day there was order. Waking up at the same time, school, homework, reading, short conversations, honest ones. Carlson never shouted, never punished. He explained. "Discipline is not punishment, Mary," he said. "It's protection when the world becomes chaotic." In the evenings he taught her about money, not just how to count it, but how to understand it. "Money is a tool," Carlson said. "It doesn't make a person good or bad. It reveals who they truly are." Mary listened, carefully. She learned fast, very fast. At school, teachers noticed her immediately. She sat straight. She wrote neatly. She never looked away. While other children laughed, Mary studied. While others complained, she calculated. "Don't you get bored?" they asked her. Mary shrugged. Boredom was a luxury she couldn't afford. When Mary turned 13, something changed. Not rebellion, not anger, exhaustion. A quiet feeling that she was living by a schedule she never chose. Carlson stayed the same. Calm, consistent. "The world is not fair," he told her. "That's why you must be better prepared for it than it is for you." Mary nodded, but something inside her began to resist. The first real conflict happened when she was 15. She came home later than usual. "You're 40 minutes late," Carlson said, looking at the clock. "I was just walking," Mary replied. "I'm not a robot." The words stayed in the air, heavy. "I'm trying to protect you," Carlson said quietly. "From what?" Mary asked. "From life?" That night she cried, quietly, into her pillow, and for the first time, she asked herself a question she had avoided for years. What if I'm not living my own life? The years passed, university, finance, economics, management. Mary was the best, the most disciplined, the most prepared. But loneliness grew. People around her fell in love, made mistakes, failed, started again. Mary never allowed herself to fall. Carlson grew older. His hair turned gray. His movement slowed. "Freedom comes after responsibility," he said one day. Mary looked at him, and for the first time, She didn't see a mentor. She saw a man who once feared losing everything. Work brought money, then respect, then power. Mary became successful, but at night, she woke up with a familiar feeling. Silence. The same silence from the hospital hallway. She realized something frightening. Discipline saved her, but it also taught her to hide her emotions. When Mary was 32, the hospital called. "Your Uncle Carlson. He's had a heart attack." She arrived quickly. Carlson lay quietly, connected to machines. "You came fast," he said softly. "You taught me not to waste time," Mary replied. He looked at her carefully. "And what did you learn on your own?" They sat in silence. "I made you strong," Carlson said. "But maybe I forgot to make you happy." Mary didn't argue. "You saved me," she said, "but I kept postponing happiness. For later." Carlson closed his eyes. "I was afraid," he admitted. "Afraid the world would break you." "And when you take away feelings," Mary said quietly, "a person breaks themselves." A week later, Carlson was gone. No drama, no loud words. Mary stood in his house and finally understood. It was never a prison, it was a shelter. Months later, Mary sold part of her business and started a foundation for orphan children, not only with money, but with mentors, with guidance, with warmth, with permission to be imperfect. She met every child personally, and every time she saw herself, a small girl with a backpack on a cold bench. Someone once asked her, "What is your main life principle?" Mary thought. "Discipline saves," she said, "but humanity gives life meaning." Mary learned how to count money. She learned how to control herself. She learned how to survive. But with time, she understood something important. Not everything can be calculated. Not everything can be controlled. Sometimes what saves us in the beginning prevents us from truly living later. And now, the question is not for Mary, it's for you. If you had to choose discipline or happiness, control or emotion, survival or a full life, what would you choose and why? Write your answer in the comments. Sometimes, an honest answer can change more than you realize.